Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm actually going to be talking about TLS or Transport Layer Security. If you've been in the IT for a while, if you've been a software engineer, database engineer, something of that sort, you might have actually come across this TLS. I just wanted to actually share what I learned recently, my understanding of TLS, and hopefully that helps you as well. It's basically secure data transport, right? So that means actually there's a point A and point B. On one side you have a client, so I'm just going to say a client who is trying to actually talk to a server. Classic example of such an architecture is basically your browser. You go to like some of your favorite websites like Gmail or your bank's online banking website or whatnot. So you go to that website, which basically takes you to a web server, like Gmail web server. Let's say you're going to gmail.com. Essentially you're reaching a Gmail web server which is being hosted at some data center, right? But basically you have a client which is reaching out to a web server, okay, and it's happening through the internet connection you have. So there is a network in place, right? Once you go to that website, you're putting your login credentials like username and password and all that, and then that data is actually sent over this network. If the data is sent as plain text on this network, and if there's a hacker trying to actually sniff like what's going on this network, then he can actually see everything, right? So let's say you're in Starbucks or in some public place and you're using their Wi-Fi. There might be a hacker listening, to what's going on this network actually, right? So if you're sending all this data on this network as plain text, then basically a hacker can get hold of that data and basically take over your account, your Google account or Gmail account, right? So, and the same thing is true for the data that is coming back from Gmail to your computer, like all the emails and all the data. So he can get hold of all the sensitive information which might be in your email. So we agree that the data should be secured. So secured meaning actually the data should be encrypted actually. So for encryption to happen, you need your data and you need a key, right? So I'll actually show you this Khan Academy's website, the example on their website, which is where they talk about actually a very old cipher called Virginia cipher, in which basically let's assume that your your Gmail password is Versailles, right? And we want to encrypt this plain text string by using a key, and this is the key that they are using actually here in this example, which is the word cheese, and that's kind of being repeated, right? And they use this table to encrypt the data. For example, we go to the row C and column V, and we get the letter X. Letter V will be converted to letter X, like using this key, right? Similarly, letter E can be encrypted to, let's say, E intersecting with H is letter L. So V becomes X, E becomes L, and so on. So finally, like if we do this for all the letters in this word, and basically you get this encrypted string. So this is what basically encryption means, right? So basically for encryption to happen, you need data and you need your key. So let's say like you're the client and you're doing this. So you're encrypting your data, right? Let's say your password P is encrypted to some string actually. Your password becomes encrypted password. So this is being sent over this network, but that's not enough. You also need to like send the key that is used for encrypting the password text, right? So otherwise actually the server has no idea about your encryption formula or encryption mechanism, hence actually it cannot decrypt that word or decrypt that text. So you also need to send the key. So you're sending the encrypted password and the key over this network. So the hacker who used to be able to see the password as plain text on this network now sees an encrypted string. He can also see the key which is going on this network. So he gets both of these things actually. He gets the encrypted password and the key. So now he goes home and then he can actually decrypt it. When you talk about TLS, there is two things actually. There's two types of encryption. One is symmetric encryption. The other one is asymmetric encryption. Just using the same key on both sides is basically called symmetric encryption actually, right? Which is not so secure. So in asymmetric encryption, you have a key pair. So you have a private key and you have a public key. So this is the key pair. Now how do you generate this key pair? You use a utility like OpenSSL. In asymmetric encryption, you can use, for example, public key to encrypt your text, and then you can use private key to decrypt your encrypted text. So basically we can use two keys in this asymmetric encryption, right? So that's what exactly will happen in this case as well. So the server over here, so it has a key pair over here. So what's going to happen? So your browser, your client is going to basically say hello web server, and then the web server is basically going to send the public key back to your browser, and then the public keys will be used by the browser to encrypt this key over here. Remember we talked about like client using a key to actually encrypt the password. So that's basically what is called a session key. Okay, so you have the session key, and now it has the public key that was sent by the web server. So it's going to encrypt the session key using this public key, and then that encrypted data will be sent to the web server. The web server over here uses the private key to decrypt the data and then extract the session key out of it. Now the hacker over here, he might get hold of your encrypted data and he might get hold of your encrypted key, right? So basically, and he might have the public key which was sent by this Gmail web server to you. He has all this information, but unfortunately this guy, he cannot decrypt this encrypted data using the public key. He needs the private key for that, which is only with the web server so far actually. So as long as you keep this private key secure, this hacker is not going to be able to decrypt this data or any data that actually goes on this network. So now that the session key which is generated by this client is securely transferred to this web server, they can actually exchange data in a secure manner, and this web server can decrypt the data using the session key. This is actually one way to achieve secure data transfer. So alright guys, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to follow up with another video to continue this topic. This is a large topic which cannot be covered in just one video. If I did, it'll become a huge video. So watch out for part 2. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and feel free to check out my other Kubernetes videos and playlists that I've created. Thank you.